everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're gonna do baby Gia's 1 month update and my 1 month postpartum update. Today is her official 1 month birthday. It's May 2nd. I'm not really sure when I'll upload this video, but we're recording it on her birthday. Yay! Go Gia! Go Gia! It's your birthday! It's your birthday! Okay, she's sleeping. She doesn't care about my singing. But okay, jumping right in. Since that 2-week nighttime routine video, a few things have changed. I believe back then she was eating 2.5 ounces per feed. Now she's up to 3 or 3.5 ounces a feed, and sometimes she'll still act hungry after that, so we'll give her an extra ounce or a half ounce, so she'll drink a little bit over 4 ounces sometimes. We're still trying to figure out what exactly is going to satisfy her, but usually she's pretty content after 3 to 3.5 ounces. As far as sleep patterns, her sleep pattern has changed a couple times since we brought her home, but in terms of differences from that 2-week nighttime routine video, I know back then we were putting her to bed after her like 11 or so o'clock feed. We stopped doing that because we just felt it was a little bit too late to put her to bed at that time. So now we've been trying to put her to bed between 9 and 10. And she's doing really well. She'll usually sleep a good 5 to 6 hour stretch and wake up around like 3:34 for another feeding and changing. And after that, it depends. Sometimes she will allow us to re-swaddle her and put her back in the crib, no problem, fall asleep, and we're good. Other times, she has just been fussing and crying for like 1 to 1.5 hours after her middle of the night feeding. So we're not really sure why. Like, we'll try burping her for a little bit longer. We'll try changing her diaper. We'll try just rocking her. And no matter what we do, as soon as we put her back in the crib, she starts screaming. So we've been dealing with that. So yeah, I guess it just depends on how she's feeling that night, whether she'll keep us up or not. But after she does go to sleep, she will usually wake up again around 7:30 or 8. And after that 7:30 or 8 feeding, it's not a maybe. She absolutely stays up for another hour to hour and a half, fussing and crying. So she'll usually fall back to sleep after that, and then around like 10:30, 11, we'll officially start our day. Another update, she has officially began getting big girl baths. I have a clip of one, so I'm gonna insert that now.
Gia's first bath. She's doing so good. She usually screams, but hey, she's waiting to the people. She's gonna be very famous one day, and we're gonna show her this, and she's gonna say, wow, look at me, I'm a big girl. We love you, Gigi.
Yeah, that's really exciting. I believe that sponge bath in the 2-week routine video, that was the last time I sponge bathed her. So after that, I sent a picture of her belly button to our pediatrician to see like if it was healed enough for a big girl bath, and it was. So we've been starting to do that. They start off relatively well. She enjoys being in the water, and then halfway through, she just starts screaming. So we're working on it. We're working on getting it to be a pleasurable experience all the way through. Let's see. Oh, she's starting to get used to our faces. Like, if she's crying, we put our face next to hers, she'll stop usually. And also I've noticed that when she cries, if I pick her up and put her to my chest, she immediately stops crying. And that makes me feel so special, because when I was little, I had a bond like that with my mom. Like, she was the only one that could console me, and I always wanted to be like right under her. So it's really cute to me that we have that same relationship. It's really exciting. Let's see. Oh, and we've been trying to get her to stick her tongue out. Like, sometimes if we stick our tongue out at her, she'll try to stick hers back out at us, and that's been so cute. She also has been really enjoying like those YouTube videos, like those high contrast black and white YouTube videos for newborns. We also have a play gym for her. Not a play gym, it's a play mat with a lot of toys on it, and she'll just lay and look at the toys and try to like swat at them. So those are some of the activities she's been doing, as well as tummy time. So far we've been doing up to like 15 to 20 minutes a day combined. She'll usually do 2 sessions, sometimes 3, but usually 2 sessions a day, about 8 to 10 minutes each. And she's been getting really good at it. At first she would just turn her head from side to side, but now she's also trying to push up her head and chest and hold it for like a couple seconds, as well as turning her head side to side. She doesn't seem to enjoy it. She cries like the whole time pretty much, but it's getting her stronger. So hey, love-hate relationship with that. Oh, and pooping. So we've gone through a lot of poop stages with her. Like I mentioned in the 2-week video, we had originally had her on the Enfamil NeuroPro because that's what they were giving her at the hospital when they supplemented my breast milk. But once we got her home, like her stomach did not react well to it. She would just be screaming and crying and trying to like strain to push a fart or a poop out, and she wouldn't poop she would only poop like every 2 days. So we told our pediatrician about it, and she suggested we switch to the Gentle Ease, and after that it took her about a week or so to get fully adjusted to that, and now she's doing really, really well. Now we're getting a poop about once a day, sometimes twice a day, but either way it's really regular. Like she doesn't skip days anymore, and she hasn't been screaming and crying and trying to strain, so we're assuming that she's not that gassy anymore. So we're really happy about that, aren't we, baby Gia? So cute. Hello. So it's now the day after, and I realized that I forgot to add a couple of things. For one, her sleeping during the day has actually changed. I think when we first brought her home, she was sleeping about 90% during the day, and then she was up for about 10% of the day. Now we're looking at more of like a 70-30 situation, which has been really fun, just thinking of new ways to like entertain her and play with her and stuff. So that's been cool. And also her personality is starting to show. She is quite the little feisty one, but she's still super loving. So it's really cute to see her come into her own little person or whatever. So yeah, I think that officially concludes her 1 month update. Now, as far as me, postpartum wise, there's some ups and some downs. I'll start with physically. I feel like I'm finally at the point where I have enough energy to take care of myself and a baby. Like 6 days ago now, I washed my hair for the first time in 2 months, and I was actually extremely proud of myself. It was a major accomplishment in my life, so I'm really excited about that. And I've also been able to try to balance out motherhood and just getting other things done in my life. So I'm glad I'm finally at the point where I can do both of those instead of just feeling like I have to choose one or the other. I feel like making to-do lists has really been helping with that, so I can physically see like what I have to get done for the day. Honestly, most of the time I don't end up getting through all of my to-do lists, and I'm trying to work on letting myself be okay with that, because honestly, anything that you can get done while being a new mom with a newborn is an accomplishment. So I'm trying to just allow myself to develop a new routine instead of trying to jump back into my old routine that I had before I had baby Gia. And oh, also, if you saw my labor and delivery vlog, you know that I did develop postpartum preeclampsia. As far as that is going, my blood pressure has been doing really well compared to where it was when I first got readmitted to the hospital. It's amazing. So it's been really good for the past week and a half. So at my 6-week checkup, which is in like 10 days, maybe 9 days now, my doctor's gonna take my blood pressure at her office, and if it's still pretty good, then I don't have to worry about this anymore. I don't have to take my blood pressure 3 times a day anymore. I don't have to text her my blood pressure anymore, and she'll assume I'm in the clear. Body-wise, I have mixed feelings. on the good side of things, I'm really excited for my butt. I feel like my booty has gotten way bigger, so yay. And I finally have hips. I've never had hips in my life until now. However, my boobs are, I just feel the complete opposite about those right now. Before I got pregnant, my boobs are really cute and perky and tiny, and now they are saggy, and I'm not used to this life. It's really hard for me to look at them in the mirror, honestly. I don't know if it has anything to do with the fact that I'm not breastfeeding anymore or what. I do feel like I still have some milk in my boobs because they're bigger than they were pre-pregnancy still. So I don't know if when they go completely back down to normal size, maybe they'll get back perky again, or at least not as saggy. I'm not sure, but right now it's not looking good for my boobs. So that's the downside. Stomach wise, my stomach has gone down a lot since I gave birth. It's not back to where it was pre-pregnancy. I do feel just a little pudgy, and I'm really excited for my 6-week checkup so I can hopefully get cleared for exercise, because I definitely want to capture that journey for you guys of getting back to just where I'm more comfortable with body wise. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say that I'm completely like hating my body, but I definitely do feel a little uncomfortable with it. I know with my last video, the nursery tour, I actually refilmed that video in a whole different outfit because I didn't like the way I looked. So hopefully by the 6-month mark, I'm feeling more comfortable in my skin again. Let's see what else. Vaginally, I feel relatively all the way healed. I do still have some minor discomfort in the area where my stitches were. I did tell my doctor about that, and she wasn't too worried. She said that it honestly sounds like just my body's way of healing. So at my 6-week checkup, she's gonna give things a look-see and let me know if I'm fully healed or not. But as far as other types of pains, I feel completely back to normal. I know when I first gave birth, I was feeling like a lot of cramping stomach-wise, and if I moved around too much, my stomach area would start hurting, and then my back would really hurt. And I would have to I was taking 600 grams of Motrin like every 6 hours when I first got home from the hospital. I think at around like the 2-week postpartum point, I stopped having like all those aches and pains. Also, bleeding wise, I stopped bleeding about 3.5 weeks postpartum, but I honestly, like, at the 2-week mark, I was done bleeding heavily. Like from 2 weeks to 3.5 weeks, it was just really light spotting. Let's see. Oh, emotionally, I know in my labor and delivery vlog, I also touched on the fact that I was feeling a little depressed when I first brought my daughter home. I did some research into it, and I don't believe it was postpartum depression. I think that it was the baby blues. I was just feeling really down. I wasn't feeling excited to be a mom. I felt really overwhelmed about the responsibility of having to take care of a little human being, and I was really anxious about the fact that I didn't know what she wanted whenever she would start screaming and crying, and I just felt like a huge failure. And I just like was crying a lot and just really feeling completely just stressed to the max. So that went on for about a week, and then at the 1-week mark of having her home, I did get readmitted to the hospital for the preeclampsia for 48 hours. And then after that, when I got back home, I didn't feel that way anymore, thankfully. And from then until now, I still have been feeling relatively happy. I've been feeling a lot less overwhelmed, so I'm really excited about that. It was really bad. I remember her first doctor's appointment was 2 days after we brought her home, and I literally was about to have like a panic attack at the thought of having to go in with her to her doctor's appointment, because I was terrified she would start screaming and crying and I wouldn't know what to do. So I literally just had to have her dad take her in, because I was like, there's no way I can do this. Like, I literally started crying thinking about having to go in with her to the doctor's appointment. So it was pretty intense emotionally that first week. But luckily at her 2-week doctor's appointment, I was at a state where I could go in with her, and I was still a little anxious, and she actually did start screaming at the end of the doctor's appointment, but I was able to get through it and make a smooth exit out of the office. So it definitely wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. And so I'm really thankful that for right now it doesn't seem like I have postpartum depression, because honestly I do have a history of depression, and then when I first got pregnant in my first trimester, I was feeling really depressed. So I felt like because of that, there would be a high chance of me getting postpartum depression. If you are going through postpartum depression, I want you to know that you are not alone, you're not abnormal, you're not a bad mom or anything. It's completely normal to be feeling honestly any way that you want to feel about motherhood. We don't have to feel just one way. You know, we're allowed to have any type of emotion we want, and that's something that I've had to get through my head, that, you know, I don't have to be just a certain type of super mom that I imagined I would be in my head. You know, like, I'm allowed to feel my feelings, I'm allowed to be stressed sometimes, I'm allowed to not know what to do sometimes, and I have to remind myself of that every day. So I just want everyone out there to know that any type of way you're feeling right now is okay for you to feel. Don't beat yourself up about it. If you need to talk to somebody, please talk to somebody and just let it out, because keeping it inside, I promise you, makes it 1,000 times worse. So yeah, that's where I am at postpartum wise, at the 1 month mark. I will update you guys, maybe not at the 2 month mark, but definitely I'll do a 3 month postpartum update for you. And then I'll definitely be documenting my fitness journey as well. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions or any comments, if you want to share your postpartum story, please let me know in the comments, and feel free to subscribe and stay tuned for more videos.